The God worlds. You have a part on all these planes. Get to know them. Get to know yourself deeper. It's fun. Well, I just visited Jin B's room and got another stack. So it is basically impossible for me, obviously, to catch up with you guys. So hang in there. If I don't get your case, I apologize. But you know that all cases stem from lymphatic stagnation, acidosis. You know, you only have to know a few things in life to get your health together. One, what type of species is the Homo sapien, first of all. You have to establish what type of vertebrae are we in terms of food eating. And to do that, we've showed you all the teeth of all the different vertebrae, the limbs, paws, you know, everything about that, to show you that which food that each species designed to eat. The divine designed each species differently, obviously. You have four basic vertebrae, right? You've got the top of the species is the frugivore species, the top of the species. They're the smartest. They can make tools. Those are your primates, and then up from that's a Homo sapien. The Homo sapien is at the look at the skyscrapers and all of that. From down, you keep working down that when you're looking in consciousness. You keep it going down. You've got the primate family. They use tools. You ever watch all that? And some major communication. Notice now that a lot of the apes are walking upright now. Notice that? Different changes coming, isn't it? Apes are starting to walk upright like humans. Interesting. Now, down from that, you got your omnivore. You got your herbivores. Your herbivores are more still your gentle beasts. You know, all your frugivores and herbivores are gentle beasts, but the most powerful. Any ape, nobody messes with any monkey. You don't mess with any of the monkeys. And then you look at, you go down to the herbivores. Your elephants, your horses, nobody, you know, we raise horses, and tell you the truth, growing up with big horses, a little intimidating. But you get used to them and love them, and they come running up to you, and there's this big-ass horse, and you're hugging on him and stuff, and we had one horse you could walk under him, walk through his legs. Such a gentle beast. And look at how powerful a wild stallion can get just eating prairie grass. Interesting. And we play so much into nutrition, and these medical doctors, I laugh, I was just doing a video for a lady here, and the medical doctor is giving her trouble with her baby for giving him fruits and stuff like that, and wants him to keep giving him this formula. Look at these formulas. You know, when any medical doctor thinks that a formula is healthier than the food, this person needs to resign and go work in a lumber yard somewhere or something, because they only hurt people. There is no formula out there that's worth anything except ours, because it's more nature. I mean, when you look at formulas, I was looking at this the other day, a formula is 46% protein. Are you kidding me? I mean, mother's milk has less than 1%. Wait a minute. Mother's milk has less than 1%. Even if you stretch it and you said, well, maybe their facts are wrong and it has 2%. 3%. 46% in a formula. What they don't realize is that primate babies can become so powerful just on a fruit diet, they can rip a human apart. Well, we're a higher species, then how come we can't rip a monkey apart? See, you know, we've got it all wrong, and I say this to you bodybuilders, and then you're in there building and working these muscles. For those like Ian and things, you guys are staying way up there on the raw. Notice that there's a power at these high levels of raw. There's a power that comes into these muscles that you didn't put in there. There's a power that comes in these muscles that has nothing to do with the bulk of the muscle. There's a power from the divine, from life that comes into these muscles when you remove the mucus and obstruction interstitially that you can't believe. So you have a muscle half the size and twice the power. And flexibility. You keep the flexibility. You don't get the stiff tightness. And you keep everything else. So it's enough to say that each species is designed and has their own food source. And when you're trying to take a human and make him a carnivore, you're destroying the health of the frugivore. And it's I was just making a comment on that, the fact that you never feed a primate meat. Meat makes people angry, aggressive. Remember the chimpanzee? The lady fed her chimpanzee wine and filet mignon and ended up eating her friend's face off. You don't do stuff like that. But we humans, we're living in the dumps, and we got to pull ourselves out of that. You know, and the problem also is being able to get good food. I haven't had good fruit in 3 or 4 months here in Florida. It's out of mango season. The mangoes are horrible right now. Sad stuff, you know. But anyway, remember, never fear eating raw foods. There isn't anybody out there that can prove to you or a court of law that taking formulas is more nutritious than raw fruits, berries, and melons. Who has any authority or any awareness to make that claim? And if you do, and insult to God, you need to quit your job, whatever you are, because you're being foolish. You know, and when I see medical doctors giving these nice mothers crap, I just want to go, you know, take care of business there, because it's like these guys are just narcissistic, you-know-whats, and it's like to sit there and tell a mother who's trying to make their babies healthy that they need to take formulas and this crap which you don't even know anything about. You know, it gets me unearthed, because now look at the health of our babies. So you mothers, stand strong. And that's why we all need to be together in one group. All the manufacturers, all of us in one powerful group. And when you have some medical doctors being stupid, we come down on them like flies on honey. Because this can't keep going on. This world will never be able to recoup itself. And so things have to be stopped right now. And that's what's going on, obviously. You guys are learning and helping all the others how to raise your babies healthy. Holy crap. My God. Oh, wow. Thank you, Siren. I get a little passionate about it, but you know why? Because I get all the calls. I have to hear the parents and the sadness of the parents when their babies are being destroyed with chemos and stuff. I have to go through that. I have to hear that. And get you, you know, that you have so much ignorance on this planet. Raw foods have been taught for 100 years here. Where's everybody been? I've been teaching raw foods for 50 years, and others 50 years before that. Amazing. It's all the way that this level designed, of course, and it's all karma and all that sort of thing. You can't get too upset about it. But with that said, it's a sad day, and it's time that humans wake up a little bit and wake up from the misery that they've created themselves. This is horrible. And the medical profession, you know, I watch karma, because everything is cause and effect. And if you can't get with that, that's tough. This is pure science. Everything is cause and effect. So that should ward out this whole ridiculous concept of diseases. Cause and effect rules the day. So you have to ask yourself, what caused this? What caused this pain? So to get into that, you got to get into the chemistry a little bit. You got to get into that a little bit. Simple stuff. But protect your children. I remember watching this video of a young man from a wealthy family. He was a European, but he traveled all around the world looking for a place to live, and he settled in Costa Rica. And he said, the reason I settled in Costa Rica, he said, is because I can raise my children how I want. I don't have to be told, because some countries tell you even more how to raise your children. It's like, what? This is the power that man gave their government without realizing it. Now, these governments are nightmares to their people. Look at the countries that won't even let our herbs in. Is that not a nightmare to their people? These are herbs, these are healing factors. These are not medicinos. I can understand blocking some toxic chemicals from coming in, but botanicals, that helps your people. See, so there's all these powers that be. And it stinks, and it's narcissistic, and it's elitism. And you see that everywhere. And these elitists are so lost in consciousness. That's why it's important that you guys wake up. My friend is on dialysis for 10 years. That's a long time. He is already on a 5-month-long diet, 100% fruit, sometimes green juice. I know that you probably have thousands of such inquiries, but he told me today that he already wants to die 10 years dialysis. Yeah, I don't blame him. I'll tell you what. We do such an experiment. He proposed 3 days of dry fasting with kidney 4, night liquids and others. 1 day of fruit irrigation with tinctures plus lymph and renal capsules and anti-parasitic, and 3 days dry. I would like to ask Robert to mention something about patients being dialysized on YouTube, whether we treat each case individually and have no universal remedy. Well, there's no question that you treat each case individually. However, there was one medical doctor one time that told the news that, he treats everybody the same. Well, that's when everybody's coming after you, for treating diseases and stuff, and I'm going, thank you. That means I'm not treating diseases, right? If I put everybody on a detox program, then how is that treating diseases? It was hard for the state to get past some of those things. But dialysis is a very, very toxic procedure. There's no question. I've had dialysis nurses in here with health problems. I've had medical doctors talk to me about dialysis. The problem is it's dialysis of the blood, right? Not of the lymph system. So the lymph system in these patients keep getting worse and worse and worse. The problem, my guess here, I'm just going to guess, 10 years on dialysis, he's probably not peeing at all. Now, if he's peeing on his own, I'm not sure I would do dialysis. In my opinion, I would be on a raw fruit diet, fruits, berries, and melons. I would be doing just what you said, the kidney tinctures. I might add a half a dropper of lymphatic 1 there just to pull on the kidney tissue itself, and I do it in a tincture form. I wouldn't want to pull on the lymph system on a dialysis case too much because the kidneys are already not filtering. This is why they're on dialysis. They're losing their kidney itself even. When your kidneys lose their filtration, it doesn't destroy the kidney. In time, though, it will. The kidneys will then back up and back up and back up, and then pretty soon they break down interstitially. So, but what's his creatinine? Creatinine, when you get way, way, way up there in the 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s, that's a lot of acidosis in the wall of the kidney. But what you're proposing here is important for all dialysis clients. Dry fast, get your kidneys to filter. Once you get your kidneys to filter, I wouldn't even think about dialysis. Matter of fact, if I'm peeing really good, I wouldn't go on dialysis if I had this information. If you don't have this information, it's hard to understand, especially if you're getting toxic blood from it. If you're not getting toxemia from it, it's one thing to go on a toxic procedure when you have serious side effects from what the problem is. But if you're not, and then going into a procedure like this, it can actually exacerbate the problem. I've had people tell me they were peeing before they went in dialysis, and a few times on dialysis they quit peeing altogether. That's scary to me. That's like, what? You quit peeing altogether because of dialysis? See, so these are some of the problems that we have. The other problem is on a juice diet. If you're not peeing at all and you're doing a lot of juices, that's not good because you're going to fill up. Because one, you're very acidic to begin with. And when you're acidic, guess what another word associated with that is? Edema. So you're going to start holding water. Remember, water is the universal solvent. So the body will pull through osmosis. It'll pull water into these dense areas of stagnation. But that creates swelling of the tissue, hence congestive heart failure, pulmonary edema, things like this. The problem with these is the problem is interstitial acidosis, interstitial lymphatic stagnation. They don't understand the lymph system, so they can't go there with you on that. So that leaves a huge part of their puzzle out. The main puzzle of life is acids in the lymph system. Why is interstitial fluid 80% lymphatic? And the blood is only 20-25% at best. That right there should be in your face. Why is this one fluid so much of it for? What does it do? And if you don't know, you're out there in the darkness. And it's a big darkness because that's the cause of most of man's problems is the lymphatic system and acidosis. If you're not acidic and you're eating a good, rich, raw diet, you never have problems. Matter of fact, the ages of these people go way up there. Matter of fact, when I first was introduced to the hygienic community, natural hygienic community, I would go to some of their weekly raw food dinners, and they'd be 90 years old with all their teeth, 100-year-olds and stuff like this, and it's like, wow. And they would love to tell their stories, and their stories of health. You know, not so with cooked food eaters and with meat eaters and stuff like that. They're always the ones with the problems, not the natural hygienic people. So the proof is in the pudding, you know. The big thing is people have to get out of relying on medical doctors. Quit going to them. The problem is with naturopaths is now they're following the same line. And again, it's like, what? People are becoming naturopaths that probably shouldn't be. You know, if you want to become a naturopath, you want to become a scientist. Naturopathy is the study of nature through science. We're not just freaks that out here throwing things out. We study the chemistry of foods, the physics of foods. That's our job. We're the scientists here. We study nature. We don't study pharmaceuticals because we're not into the treatment of diseases. Since diseases, the theory is stupid. It holds no validity in chemistry and in physics. That's why you can't put that together. There's always a cure coming down the road. Well, that's for bumping up their stock prices, but that's okay. But there's I've been watching this, you know, there's one pharmaceutical that leaked out this little possible breakthrough, right? I can't remember, some cancer breakthrough possible or something. So their stocks went kaboom! And the other day on the news they said, nah, it didn't work out. No kidding. I mean, there's so much criminal intent and thinking out there. It's amazing. You have to protect yourself. You have to learn to excuse me, watch everything. Unbelievable. Excuse me. So it's enough to say that get on the raw. Your friend needs to get himself peeing before he pulls himself off of dialysis. And if I'm getting myself peeing, then I'm going to pull myself off maybe Wednesday. So I've got Monday and Friday. And then, if I'm doing pretty good, I'm going to pull myself on, say, Friday. And now I'm just going in on Monday. Because the whole thing is you've got to free up the blowback into the blood is to get your kidneys filtering. Bottom line. But if you don't have a blowback into your blood, going on dialysis can actually make you worse and worse and worse. So you've got to work through this. You just got to work through this using just what you said. I like what your theory is here. I really like that. You use the kidney formulas stuff. Do that 24-hour dry fasting and work with that. Because once the kidneys he's peeing and filtering, it would be not smart to do dialysis. But all dialysis people need to do that. You need to, but eat your fruit. Don't do juices. Don't load yourself up with a lot of water and juices, because then you might have to go in and get an extra dialysis. If you're bloaty, holding water, edemic, and your kidneys aren't peeing at all. I hate that. When you get to that point in dialysis where you can't pee at all, especially people that walk in already peeing. It's like, no. And some of these things are just harder things to get yourself out of. I don't know what to say about it, but you can get yourself out of them. From Mike. New research points to advantages of adding alkaline foods to diet. Acid's level could have profound effects on kidney health. Good choice, Mike. Good pickup here. You know, you guys are going to find that we've been teaching truth for years, and this is just another piece of it. And they're finding more and more. You're going to see all these studies come in line with this because we're talking truth here. And this is a good example. New research. Do you need research to really to know that, though? I mean, this is just common sense in the world of chemistry. Your mind is already full of the knowledge. You can just put it together, you know. But I like the studies, you know, it's okay. New research points to the advantage of adding alkaline. Do you think so? Alkaline foods to diet. Acid levels could have profound effect on kidneys. No kidding, and this is why everybody's having lymphatic problems. Not only does acid-forming foods affect kidney performance, they affect which? Your GI tract. Matter of fact, the World Health Organization, I think, made a statement about how meats and things like this break down the GI tract. Matter of fact, they just did a 30-year study on that. And their claim was meats are linked to colon cancers. Well, acid ash-forming foods. You know, the blowback is acidic. And you don't want the blowback to be acidic. You want the blowback to be alkaline, even though acids are being formed as the alkaline chemistry is being burnt. But that's to be eliminated through the lymphatic system, which is protected by lipids and cholesterol and all of that. Oh, this is good. Look at all this. Alkaline foods. It's a pretty good study here. I have to look at this and read this. I haven't looked at it yet, but this is written by a Mr. or Miss, looks like a female Cruz, November 2013. 3 new studies suggest that controlling dietary acid intake could help improve kidney health. Huh, yeah, well, we already knew that, but this is more confirmation that what we're telling you is true. So anybody, keep some of these studies. I'll try to get this put up online. And then these are valuable. And when your parents or somebody is giving you crap, here's some studies to read. Good. I love this. Keep getting these studies because we're going to keep trying to get them all up on our site. So then you can just go on our site and there's all the studies you need to look at. That's exciting to me because we have some great studies. And there's some, in Science News, there's some great stuff. These guys I love these guys because they're coming up with stuff that's like, told ya, All right. Ooh, question 1. G-Day, country boy. It's Mitch again. Hey, Mitch. The Crohn's guy. Just take your colon out, start squeezing. Send it through that back in the old washing machine days, you had those rollers and then your clothes went through those rollers. I remember that. We had those at home. I grew up with those. Earlier ones, Squeeze your colon out. Get all that acid out of that interstitial space, Holy crap, I feel for you guys. Jesus Christ, I'll tell you right now, there's nothing fun with acidosis. There's just nothing fun with it. And the more we teach it and teach it to our friends and we learn about it, we learn to protect ourselves from that side of life, that side of chemistry, that side of the mind, that side of emotions, that acid. And we get happy. I mean, your happiness is worth everything, guys. Each and every one of you want to strive to be happy with yourself, happy with your body, and if it's in pain, at least I'm giving you the tools to fix it. It might not be fixed like that, but dig in at all costs, because having Crohn's and things like this, holy crap. And it's not about the word. It's about what's going on in your body. What does Crohn's mean? They've given some disease name to something. Okay, go treat your Crohn's or whatever. But what's going on interstitially in your bowel walls? And that's the important. That's what we're after. We're after that interstitial hydration. Well, some of the ups and downs to this, what condition is your lymph nodes in? That's the scary part. When you've had years of acidosis, years of lymph stagnation, what condition are the lymph nodes in? Because if you lose a lymph node, you know that it's going to be very difficult to get those cells on the other side of that lymph node to respond, because the lymph node drains right into the kidneys or skin. So now when you can't get that sewage through the lymph nodes broken down with the bacteria and then off to the kidneys, it's stuck interstitially. Well, that's 3 pH. Without bacterial action, it's 3 pH. So let's just kill the bacteria in your body. Thank you. No, let's don't kill the bacteria in your body. Let's love our little babies, and let's clean the sewage out so they don't have to be there. Or wherever they're present, they have to be present. You've got to have bacterial lymph nodes. Without that, how do you break down your acids? So interstitial cystitis and all this kind of stuff can be very painful and not happy. Always want the urge to pee and pain and stuff like that. No. But how do you get them out? There's lymph nodes to even the bladder and kidneys, guys. This sewage has to come out. When it's at 3 pH, hello, that's Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper and Pepsi and all of that. And that's what you're feeling. Ow, I'm feeling Coke in my bladder today. Oh my God. So you can use bicarbonates, baking sodas. You can use alkaline. Of course, you got to go to alkaline chemistry. What do you go to? More acid chemistry? I mean, you see what I'm saying? That's an oxymoron. You can't take more acids to get rid of an acid involvement. That just exacerbates your problem and destroys tissue even faster. What are they thinking? These are alkalized burning? Where does that come from? On an acid-forming diet, all the metabolitic wastes are acids. How can that be alkalized burning? Duh. Oh, man. Horrible. My good man, can you please give your opinion of Phase 1 and Phase 2 of detoxification, and if current science supports your understanding of Phase 1, enzymes and biotransformation, as well as Phase 2, conjugation reactions, and whether this is something you take into consideration when detoxifying people, or do you have a different viewpoint? I'm a God man. So you know what my viewpoint is, Mike? Or Mitch? Simplicity. Simplicity. Who cares what the stages are? Simplicity, my dear men. Eat your fruit, eat your berries, eat your melons, have to have a salad once in a while. Once in a while if you want. I've been detoxing heavily. Come out, baby. I don't mind. I want what's in out. Don't you? Especially if it's not supposed to be there. Especially if it's a mucus plug or something. Get out of there. Yeah, some of the people are getting some gnarly stuff out, aren't they? My God, some of you guys are writing in, sending us pictures of some of the crap you're getting out of yourselves. It's like, oh, all the black mucus, black stuff, mold on stool. Been in a while. Some of the worms and stuff. One guy was writing in, it feels like he's feeling worms moving in his head. Well, I had a nurse for years. Oh my God. She could feel them moving in her head. I forgot about her. She was a nurse. She had, numbness in her head, and we could tell it was worms. And boy, and I said, what about the blood? I asked a medical doctor once, good friend of mine, asked him, what about the blood-brain barrier? How do you get that? He said, no such thing. When you have that amount of confusion in the medical community, you just got to look beyond that sort of thing. But we got a lot of thread worms out of her. We got a lot of worms out of her. Holy crap, for over a year. Oh, but we started getting some serious thread. Matter of fact, I had her flask here of thread worms. I show you guys at the school. Where's my worms? Come here, babies. Where are you? I've got them in a case somewhere. But I've got a bunch of thread worms that I'll show you what they look like. They're little thread worms. But it's not fun to feel worms moving in your head. Ugh. And you can imagine what they're living on. And of course they excrete too, all things eat and poop. So you have worms eating and pooping in you. So that's what I'm saying. Detoxification is a fun, good thing. And everybody needs to learn this is nature's way of getting rid of the unwanted. So I don't know why people freak out about it. It's just we're learning how to do it better, more thorough, deeper. We're just learning about these things. With your help, we're learning dry fasting. We're learning all these things. It's so much fun. So people get anal about things. It's like, don't get anal about things. Keep life simple. It doesn't matter the stages that the body goes through, because I'm going to tell you something. As soon as you think you know, something comes up and you realize you don't know. So I've told you this before. This is why, as I continue to grow and learn, I continue to realize just how much I don't know. It's like, holy crap. Which when we think we know, right? Oh man, I really don't know anything. Because there's nano, sub-nano, there's so many micro levels that, how do we know? And so life is going on and working there. So when you're eating your raw foods, there's micro levels of that going on. You're feeding micro levels, nano levels, subatomic levels. You're feeding all levels. It's like, whoa. So just when we think we know, right, the human mind isn't even close. The human mind can't even figure out its own journeys. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Anyway, phase 1 and phase 2, I don't know what you're talking about there, to be honest with you, my friend. I just detoxify. I keep it simple. My head is in heaven. I live in the now as much as I can, man. This is my last lifetime. I'm done. I'm here helping, and then I'm out of here. And for some of you who are tired at this level of activity, I suggest you learn how to have higher levels of awareness and activity, because the views are better and the activity is better and the freedom is higher. Imagine being in a world where as soon as you think, it manifests. Got to be strong for those worlds, because they don't let you play in those without having some degree of discipline. Because as soon as you think it, you experience it. That's why you go through some of these lower levels, to develop a maturity of self-control and self-discipline. Because you're developing a power and an awareness that can affect all life. And so you have to be detached and at levels that you can't hurt things. I don't know how to describe that other than you'll see what I mean here. Anyway, probably because I have talked to a lot of people who go straight into juice or water fasting. I've had an adverse experience before too. Well, I agree that when you first start on these programs, if you're really toxic, go slow. With that said, though, when you've suffered for 10, 20 years, don't play around too long. Get on with it. It is true that if you jump right into a fruit diet, you're going to have some strong detoxification symptoms. You could go into a cold and flu-like symptoms. So what? Good. Get it out. But ride it, baby. For some of you that are very involved, go slow. That's okay. Go slow. Do some green drinks on top of the juices. But for others who only have a few weeks to live, Mitch, I don't care. The souls are getting ready to leave their bodies, and if they want to stay on the planet, they've got to get the bodies inhabitable. And this is true with people that are out there in comas. We can get them back. You got to get the body available to handle the soul. And that's not difficult, even in a coma. But they don't know that. They just let them go ahead and atrophy, kidney shut down, and boom. We can go in there and interface with this. There's so many things, guys, that we can do. It's phenomenal. Good stuff. Neat stuff. But the power right now is that way, because who created all that? The world banking system, Rockefeller Jr., the American Cancer Society. These are money people. They don't care. And I see all these people fighting for cancer and all this stuff. Oh, really? All the people giving the millions and all the pink ladies and all this stuff. And I look at this and I say, ladies, they got a ring in your nose and they're pulling you down the road. They're taking your money while you're collecting. Come on, keep collecting money for us. Keep collecting money for us. Because there's no remedy allopathically, and never will be. Wrong focus. Wrong theory. You're trying to attack what you don't understand. As long as you attack something you don't understand, you're going to kill people. So all these poor, innocent, loving souls are out there trying to raise money, walking, around the country, doing everything, and all it is a ring in their nose, and they're taking their money all the way. And they'll turn around and juice your kid and kill him just as much as they would anybody else. They don't care. I'm telling you, you're in a cold, hard world. And so you got to get the love going. Sometimes it's kind of hard when, things are pretty gnarly on the acid side of chemistry. And had such high toxic load with such poor... So here's Mitch bringing this out. Okay, so let's get into this a little bit. All right, by the way, I have had adverse experience before too. When you jump in on things, it's not a really adverse reaction. Bam! Now, and had such high toxic load with such poor liver function that an aggressive attempt to detoxify has made things worse by not being able to have toxins become water soluble and be excreted. And I disagree with that. Thus making things worse, and I suppose in a grand sense, auto-intoxicating the body. I kind of disagree with that, Mitch. I really do. Because it isn't making toxins water soluble at all. Because, matter of fact, very difficult to make things water soluble like that. That's why lipids are involved here, and that's why the lymph system is a lipid-based system. First, you have a buffering system that's far greater to the acid side of chemistry, and then the lymph nodes give you bacterial action on the lymph nodes. Not make them water soluble, you have bacterial action on acids, metabolitic waste acids. And then, of course, it's off to the kidneys for excretion, or to the skin, subcutaneous areas to be excreted. Those are more gases, but still, you can see gases emanate from your skin all the time. But, some gases are very toxic and acidic. So I disagree with everything has to become water soluble. You have to play with the patient for a while and get them to hydrate and that stuff. No. There's nothing wrong with slipping into a raw food diet immediately. You want to do it immediately. The thing is that fruits of the highest electrical, and they're aggressive, they're astringent. And so, you're going to get some blowback if you jump right into a high fruit diet. I agree. But we have clients that can't wait. And I'll never wait. Ever wait when someone's dying or needs help badly. I don't find that to be true there, Mitch. I know once in a while you'll see someone that has a blowback like that because they went too aggressively. Absolutely. I agree that you could have that. But it doesn't kill anybody or hurt anybody at all. You might get a little cold and flu, you might get a little achy, you might get a little bit, oh man, I got to balance out here. Absolutely could. But you can watch blood sugars and blood pressures when you do that. But I'm a guy that likes to get in and get it done. And I went slow before in my life. I had my clients, I did them a little 2-week detox, then I had them back in for 2 weeks. Remember, I had 50 years of learning how to detoxify people. And so I've detoxified people and myself for 50 years. Myself included over that. So I've seen all levels of this. And when you're hurting, you change. If you want to go slow at first, go into an all raw. I recommend all raw. But if you have that much trouble and you're way back in a corner of acidosis, yes, some of these people, we don't jump into them. We pull them back. We do a little steamed vegetables. We try to do the green juices. There's some people that flatly cannot handle fruit. You're in trouble when you can't handle fruit. You're in big trouble. So I have some people. I have one lady right now we're trying to work with her. She can't handle water or fruit. Well, you can only use some green drinks, very minor. She's getting the point. So you got to go slow and work, even if you have to spoon feed. But some things you've got to blow through. Some things, if you don't, you'll get yourself into a corner where you can't get out of it. So some things you've got to hang on there, buckle up, and blow through that stuff. Not saying that you do that every time, but sometimes you got to put up with it. Take an aspirin and put up with the pain because you have to astringe. You have to hydrate. And when you astringe in a highly chronic acidic area, pain can be for sure. It can increase the pain. And I can tell you, and I've said this before, not all things are fun going to Wellville. Some of you guys are way back into some of these highly toxic acidic corners because medical doctors have suppressed, steroided you, antibiotic you until you're into this corner. I'd like to see them get you out of this corner. I'd like to see some of the corners that they've gotten some of you guys in, get them out. I'd like to see them get in a corner like that and get yourself out of a corner like that since you got everybody else in them. So, yeah, you got to be gentle and things like that, but you don't want to sit there and dilly-dally and sit there and waste your time, because acids are blowing back on you every day you wait. So I'm a little more of an aggressive kind of guy in the detoxification, only because we work at the levels that we work. But we got a pretty good reputation for it. And if you have a blowback, slow up. No big deal. If it's too strong, slow up. Go different types of fruit. Get away from the strong astringents. Go to your less watery fruits. Or go on green drinks. But at a certain point, you got to break through the green drink scenario into the fruit scenario. The lemons are going to be at the high level. You might want to wait on the lemons and go down to the apples, like the Red Delicious apples, things that are not so aggressive. Put a little cinnamon and have some fun that way. But you eventually need to handle at least the green grapes. They're the least, so at least handle the green grapes. And if you can't handle those, you got to use herbs and some buffering things to this. And that's just learning how to detox when your body's in a very acidic state, using the bicarbonates and stuff like that. But I don't play with this two-faced crap or anything like that. I don't live in the intellectual world anymore. I want out of that. That's what locks you away from truth. And it's just like living the now. But what? There is no but. There is no but. You get right on the diet, and if you're hurting, you go right on it. You're just shifting from a cooked food acid-forming diet to an alkaline-forming diet, which is essential. And hydration is going to start bringing you mucus and cold and flu-like symptoms, some pain maybe, some cold chills. Now, when you have Crohn's and things like this, and you've got thickened bowel walls, you can have a lot of pain in the gut, there's no question, but you can belly up with antispasmodics and things like that. It's not alkaline chemistry going to kill you. It's the acid chemistry going to kill you. Question 2, picture attached. Progress due to date against diseases for which vaccines already exist, and deaths from diseases for which vaccines might be developed. Excuse me. Dr. Morse, with all the hype on vaccines, with the photo I've attached, how do you argue vaccines that have irradiated a lot of diseases? No, they haven't. And they've caused a lot of diseases. Look at the live vaccine of polio and how much polio they've created with that. Vaccinated immunity isn't a lifetime immunity. And I barely say that it's immunity, because look at the ADDs from the vaccines. We've created massive amount of neurological problems with vaccines. Massive ADDs, massive seizures, massive. So when they put a chart like this up, you don't buy into any thinking about vaccinations. Learn how to clean the lymph system up on your babies and stuff. I've had pediatrician after pediatrician tell me they love natural immunity versus vaccinated immunity. That's the biggest hype on the planet. If you buy into their statistics, vaccines have caused more harm and problems than they've cured. You go back to the plagues of Europe. This is where they claim the biggest one, bubonic and all that crap. What did they do to clean that up? It wasn't the vaccines. They cleaned up their cities, because we're going back to those times where they were using creeks in the towns to eliminate their sewage, and the kids were playing in the creeks. And of course, back then you're talking about high dairy, high protein consumption. The lymph systems were messes. You got to look at what's going on here interstitially and at the humans. We're blaming nature for the problems. I wouldn't. I'd blame man and his stupidity for the problems. His terrain and what he's created inside of his body for the problems. Go back to 18th century, 19th century Europe. What was their diets? Was it fruits and berries and melons and veggies? So, you just take a look at man's diet, the condition of his inner sewer system and stuff, and you'll find all the answers. And when you come down with these things, if you go into detoxification, you're not going to die from that. If you treat them, so you got to look at other books that are more factual. Look at Dr. Tenpenny's stuff. Look at, the Emerging Virus book. That's a good one to show you more facts about real facts about vaccines. And one big one is when they introduced the polio vaccine, polio went up 680% or something like that. Oh no, it didn't go down. It went skyrocketed. They gave people polio. You got to understand they were using live vaccines. Now it's just giving people ADD and seizures and little stuff like that. There is nothing healthy about a vaccinated body whatsoever. And so they got to get out. Look at all these people that take flu shots. What are you trying to do? Get immunity toward the body's healing itself and detoxification? This is insanity at its best. Sorry about that one, Mitch. Yuck. This is Trish. Hey, Trish. Subject, energy, electronic frequencies. I recently came across the subject, Orgonite. It is my understanding that this is used to balance and organize the magnetic properties of the body. It has the same energetic property of our planet. Trying to understand the sequences and dangers of radio waves, these frequencies are also being used to manipulate brain waves and cell behavior. What can we do to protect us? We can't escape the grid. These are good questions, Trish, because I'll tell you what. We've got a lot, and I've said this before, our airways are getting full of chatter on all these frequencies, and so you got all this radiation, all this electronic frequencies going out and impulses and stuff. You know how to protect yourself from that? Don't become acidic. Remember, under the acid sky, radiation stays in the body. Everything stays home. In the alkaline sky, the body detoxifies it out. It's an anionic versus a cationic environment. So, the best protection on this planet for you is to get healthy, is to get into the fruit, the berries, the melons, and the salads. That's your best protection. Get your lymph system clean. So, ingested chemistry will be eliminated chemistry. If you ingest something or breathe something that's foreign or you're subjected to radiation, your body won't hold it. See, because you're already in the world, and there's no way to get around radiation exposure to some extent because all the electrical grid in your houses. So you want to power yourself. Be the very energy of God yourself. And these low-level energies can't affect you. Get your body in an alkaline environment and healthy in an alkaline state. And that's the best you can do given the planet you're on, except moving to more or less toxic places and places where food is better. I don't know what to say about it, other than that, because we're crazy with this. We're just crazy with this. And man hasn't learned to put the electrical wiring underground. We still love to ugly the sky and ugly the surface and put the electrical currents upstairs when the ground is the better place. Hurricanes can't take power out and all this, and they just haven't learned that. So our skies are ugly with electrical wires, and of course all that electrical energy and coming to us and stuff. I'm amazed that the human is as healthy as it is, which is not very healthy at all. Yeah, I know, and there's so much radio waves and new frequencies all the time, and you can't worry about things like that, though. If you worry too much, then you get yourself paranoid. Get your body healthy and clean to where you're in an alkaline dominant state, and then things won't stay in you. You can deal with toxicity. You can go into these where all these people are epidemics, where all these people's lymph systems are bringing them down, and you walk around and nothing. There was they were two Christian, what's that called when you go over and you try to convert somebody into your way of thinking? Anyway, they were over in, I think they were in, they were in one of the Asian countries, and I'm trying to remember which one in particular. I don't think it was Thailand. But they were over there in one of the Asian countries, and they adopted a little girl. Well, this little Asian girl had AIDS. Matter of fact, the village they were in had a lot of AIDS in it. So they found me and came to me. Well, we not only cleaned the HIV out of her, we got the little girl healthy, right? So now there's some epidemic over in that village. I forget what it was. You know, something that should have been vaccinated, right? So there was an epidemic. And I can't remember what it was. And there were little kids dying right and left. AIDS kids were just taking them out. Everything was dying right and left. But this little girl was healthy and no symptoms. So the minister of health happened to visit the village and came across and was talking to these two, oh crap. Anyway, they were talking to him, and the minister of health was going, but your little girl's not sick. Why is that? And they said, well, our little girl had AIDS too, and she doesn't have it anymore. And he's going, what? And so they were talking about us, and he said, you know, if you'll get him over here, I'll give you the land to build a healing center on. That never came about, but that is kind of showing you, Mitch, here, in a healthy body, in the middle of an epidemic of whatever it was. I can't remember what it was. Bubonic plague, whatever it was, you know. On top of the fact that there was AIDS all over the place, and this little girl stood healthy and tall in that environment. So, I mean, this is just what I see all the time. And that's neat. And I would wonder why the Minister of Health wouldn't be getting a hold of us going, wow, you mean you got rid of HIV out of the kid? Absolutely. It's a viral. You detox it out of the person. Absolutely. Because they were dealing extreme. And some of these places are extreme with the AIDS. Sick. Nasty. And we can fix that. There's so much we can fix. It's so exciting, guys. There's so much we can fix. But it's got to want to be fixed. You know, that sort of thing. No. So here's another thing with this. There was a guy I went to this fruit and berry festival, and he has these little, they're supposed to bring radiation into balance. I've seen them before. So he put one in my truck fuse box, and it ended up creating major problems in my truck. Major problems. I have to say that you and each and every one of you are individual expressions of the divine. You are the power of your world. You have a body on a planet that's spinning through space at roughly, 23,000 miles, about a minute or a second or whatever it is. Or hour, or whatever it is. You're in a world that is here today and gone tomorrow. You're in a world that's an illusionary world for you. You're only here temporarily, and when you remove your attention away from it, this world disappears from you. Notice that if I look at this cup, it's a nice cup, but as soon as I look over here, this thing becomes dead to me. And this becomes alive. Yes. Oh, look, this is now alive. Oh, no, that's gone. Now this is alive. That's how creation works. Where you place your attention, you turn on the light switch. Your attention is consciousness. That's the energy that turns on the light of this body, of your emotional body, and actually even to your mind. Your mind has no power, nothing to it, until you activate it. And your attention is what activates your experiences. So when you give this planet, like Native Americans, and you put so much attention into a physical rock that is nothing, that is only housing your body, and yes, you want to make it healthy and that, but it is an illusionary level. This level can be eliminated like that. You can't be. This is just creation with duality and magnetism and two sides of chemistry bumping uglies. So if you give the power to this world, where's your power? You are the power, and you want to always be the power. You're more powerful than this world ever thought it could be. You guys come from these high worlds of consciousness. That's where the power is. This is just a little physical planet spinning through space in galaxies. So you want to give yourself proper respect. And all this, it's kind of like the guys that are saying that the world is flat and NASA's just shining up a great big picture of a round globe so we can think it's, I mean, where does that come in from? Some people here believe some bizarre stuff. That's all I got to tell you. And this man doesn't. I like stability. Understand who you are and the fact that you carry your own power. You don't let this, this world is nothing to you. It's just where you have your body and you're experiencing. That's why you need to spend time alone and realize that you are so much more than this little body that you're using to experience here. Remember, this is just your car you were given when you came here to drive. Oh, you mean it's already bumped up and wrecked? And that's what you have to deal with. We're passing out cars that are not new and beautiful from Detroit because there's genetics here. And man hasn't learned a lot of that here. So now we're here to teach them. And you're here to help us, as far as I'm concerned. Because look at what all the benefits and all the help that you're helping each other. It's just amazing what's going on out there. But you never want to give others or this planet or anything in creation your power, or you lose. You lose. So all of you, don't buy into some of this, because there's some freaks out there that are getting into esoteric things that make no sense. They're lost in the world of the mind. And let me tell you, it's a big world and you can be lost for eons of time. And if you're a soul that wants to wake up and understand more of truth and become more awake instead of thinking so much, enjoy the ride, because it is one incredible journey to start to wake up from the powers that you've given your bodies and others. Don't give anybody else your power. Not a smart thing to do. That's what we've done. People have done that and given governments their power, and look at what's happened. Governments have keep taking your freedom away from you. This is Louise. Thank you so much for all the advice and I don't know, I've been pretty rowdy. Dang on it. I'm feeling pretty rowdy. And that's because there's just so much crap going on, so much deception and lies, and it's like, my God, it's thick down here. Oh! So we have fun cleaning it up, don't we? Thank you all for helping me too. Love you guys. I have a question about group B strep during pregnancy and birth. When you show as positive for group strep B in pregnancy, they recommend antibiotics during labor. What the hell is wrong with those guys? I mean, you have to understand what antibiotics are, and the fact that you don't want to get, we all have staph and strep in us, that's easy to detox out of there. Of course, when you're about ready to have a baby, hard to go in detoxification, but you detoxify this out of your system. The problem with antibiotics is simple. You kill the bacteria in your body, and now you're in trouble. You mess up your intestinal flora, you mess up your lymph node flora, so pretty soon your lymph nodes can't function properly. Now you're backing up. I mean, when I look at this, and you look at RA, you look at all the arthritises, you look at lupus, you look at Lyme's, you look at fibromyalgia, they're all the same thing. They're all systemic, chronic systemic acidosis. Not all these levels of things are chronic, but now when you're getting into chronic levels, that's those of you that are in pain all the time in your joints and everywhere else. There's only one remedy to that, guys. Only one remedy to that. And I'm talking remedy, not treatment, remedy. And that is, you got to get on the alkaline sky, hydrate, and get your kidneys to filter these acids out of the body, or I don't know how you get well. You're not getting well. And staph and strep and all these things, MRSA, same thing. And again, MRSA is just another example of what happens when you give someone too many antibiotics. And you have done nothing to clean the terrain. So, if you have MRSA or staph or strep, well, clean the terrain. And if your baby gets it, clean the baby out. That's all that is. But if you give your babies, you give all this antibiotics, what in the hell? One day the truth will be known. Because they're standing on antibiotics like there's some proud thing that we created antibiotics. Are you kidding? This has been man's problem. And those people that are in these chronic levels have had a lot of antibiotics growing up. They've been trying to fight their lymphatic stagnation. They've been trying to fight their acidosis through antibiotics. You can't do that. And when you were eating meat and dairies and this toxic, putrefacted food stuff, don't get pissed off if you get all this stuff or you get all the E. coli's and stuff. Don't get mad because you just invited them into yourself. People don't come in you don't invite. And that's part of the problem. So they need to get their heads out of their antibiotic butts and start learning the truth about why man's suffering so they can become a viable modality instead of one that everybody's starting to realize that, man has a serious problem called the medical community. I had my baby. I wasn't tested, but my baby contracted group B staph during the birth and ended up very sick with syphilis. Sepsis. Sorry. Big difference. All right. Sepsis is not a bacterial problem. Sepsis is not caused by bacteria. Did they tell you that? You're sepsis because you have a toxemia. Matter of fact, your baby to go into this, you have a lot of lymph stagnation, honey, and so does your baby. Remember, your baby's lymph system is your lymph system. Your baby was stuck with you. So the filtering of his sewage from his or her cells and the elimination of waste are going through your lymph system. But if you're not filtering, you see what I'm saying? This is why you see sepsis babies and things like this. It isn't the strep. They're secondary. You want to deal with the primary problem, not treat the secondary problem and leave the primary problem. That's when you start to have sick babies. And you'll see if you don't take care of this properly, your baby's going to be sick and sick and sick and sick and sick. Back to the ER, antibiotics and a little whatever. Pneumonia, antibiotics, morphine, everything I didn't want for her. You know why? Because they didn't know how to detoxify your baby properly. Don't get upset, honey. You could get this out of your baby. Now get your baby on fruit, especially after 6 months at least. I wouldn't breastfeed this baby over 6 months because now you're going to get, matter of fact, I'd introduce your baby at 3 months to fruit, at least fruit juice, because you're going to want to detoxify this baby. And this baby's going to have fevers and cold and flu-like symptoms. Be prepared. I can just tell you. I've had hundreds of babies like this. So, you've got to detox. They have no clue. What they did is just lock this stuff back in your baby even more. So the next thing is going to be tumors and stuff. No, honey. No. You've got to stand up and get this baby of yours clean before this baby enters the sea world. And then that's a world you lose your kids. And you just got to go along with them. Yes, sir, whatever. Yes, sir. You going to kill my baby? Yes, sir. I'm telling you, I'm a warrior when it comes to this now, and we all need to be, because they're crazy, calling in child services on people. Who do they think they are? I'm telling you, the most a bunch of narcissistic dumbbutts that doesn't know the first thing about health, and they call the child services in, and the parents are trying to get their babies healthy. Ooh. Sorry. I need to hew myself back into... All right. But thankfully, she is a fighter and made it. She'll make it, honey. You just got to detoxify her. And listen, they haven't detoxified her. That's something you're going to have to do. And she's going to get sick, probably detoxifying. Don't freak out. Babies are going to have cold and flus just like adults. Fevers just like adults. Keep her cool down to 103, because I'm telling you, babies love high fevers. Don't freak out. Be in control. You're the mother. You're learning the truth. And you don't want them to hurt your baby. But how could this have been prevented? They said that if I had another baby, the risk is higher. Not if you clean your lymph system out, sweetheart. You got to go after your system. The sepsis is in you. Your baby's just showing you what it got from you, honey. So it's your lymph system. Now it's a baby's lymph system. You have to clean both of your cells. And by the way, go after your baby's kidneys and adrenal glands. Remember what you're dealing with? Go after your baby for that. And then you'll have a good baby, a healthy baby. Go after the endocrine glands, upper circuit, brain, and nerve. Your baby will sit there doing college courses in 2nd grade. I mean, there's ways we can make our babies really, really healthy, strong, and awake and smart. And that's the way you want to go. Who cares what they think? How can I avoid this before getting pregnant again? Get your body cleaned out. Do not get pregnant. Get your body detoxed so you now are raising strong babies. Check your parathyroid. All these things can give you serious depression and issues like this. Go after these things before you have children. And then have healthy babies, because when you have the child services saying, I'm going to take your child because you're trying to feed it healthy, or you don't want your baby to have chemo, so we're going to take your baby. What? So that's what I'm saying. Get your babies healthy, guys. How can are there any herbs that can specifically help with this? Yeah, detoxify the body. Use parasite M&G on your cells. I'd use him on the baby. But just detoxify the lymph system. Everything like that goes out with the wash. Because if you treat, you do not eliminate. And now it'll be back. Your baby will have staph or strep again because you haven't done anything to clean the little sewer system out. That's what it's all about. So clean the sewer system, and now you got a clean body. You won't have to deal with any bacteria that shouldn't be there. Bacteria only goes where it's needed. And that's determined by the chemistry that it's interfacing with. We're the ones that fill out the call of the wild, you know. I hope to heal my baby with fruits, berries, melons, and herbs. And you will. But I suggest, Mama, you heal yourself. I really do, honey. You got to go after yourself, because this baby came out of you. It got its lymph system from you. You need to clean your lymph system out, and then you'll be free, and you can have as many babies as you want. And they'll all be healthy and happy. I love you guys. Sorry I'm getting a little, but I tell you, the crimes against humanity is high. We don't have to hurt anybody to make them healthy. Yeah, when you get way up into these chronic levels of pain, I'm the first to admit that it can be painful getting out of that. But belly up, take some aspirin. And I recommend Hildy as a good source of that, because here's a lady in extreme pain with RA, bedridden. And look at her now. No, I couldn't even stop her. I tried to slow her down many times. Never listened. So all I can say is that when you're in trouble, go for it. There's nothing to fear. Understand what's going on. Understand the simplicity of all of this. Don't make things too complicated. That's the problem. The medical profession is trying, since they're narcissistic elitists, mostly, they like to talk over people. That's why I don't get into big words. I stopped this years ago. Years ago, I learned humility, let me tell you, in some hard ways. And so, I don't need big words. I just need to be able to convey truth at an understandable level. So I chose to go the simplicity route, so I can communicate with those that are not intellectual. I don't need to be intellectual. That loses you. It doesn't find you. It sends you deeper into creation. Simplicity is easy. It's more like China, where language is more in pictures. Simplicity is good for all of us. There's no need talking over somebody's head. because we're all one. We're all humans having a physical experience. No need to kill each other. It's okay you believe what you believe in. I don't care what people believe in. I don't care if people believe we don't know what we're talking about. Trouble is, we do. So, and we can prove it. So, I want to be strong in yourselves. Each and every one of you. Each and every one of you are part of the divine. Each and every one of you. Here's a group hug, and here's an individual hug from each and every one of you. Come on, man. Show the world what being a high spiritual being is like. Show them love. Show them truth. You know? You've got your get your happiness. Get your happiness first. Get your sukkah. Learn how to open up to these higher levels of travel. Instead of, arguing and fighting at this level, learn how to get out of your body and travel and visit some of these other cities and places on these other planets and stuff, or out of this whole physical world into other worlds that are even far grander and more beautiful. Nothing to be afraid of. Your spiritual beings, or we're all right there with you. No sense to get fearful. And have some fun. And be happy. Get those bodies of yours back in shape. And have some fun. So, I love you guys. I'm trying to give you as many videos as you can. Feeling a little, like fighting today, because this has got to stop. So some of us have to be warriors, because you can't keep killing humans under the facade you're trying to get them better, because that'll be forever going. You'll never be able to get humans better with pharmaceuticals. That's a huge lie, guys. There's no such thing. You're right now learning the truth of life and how the body works and how chemistry works on the planet for every vertebrae. Not just the humans, everyone is subject to this. All our domesticated animals, all our beautiful species, the plants, all things are dealing with chemistry. And it all fits perfectly when you understand it. So I love you guys. Thank you. And remember the God worlds. Remember, you guys are here. This is where your bodies are, down here. You're looking from up here. So when you remove your attention from down here, you start becoming awake of here. It's quite simple. And a lot of fun. And a major buzz. That was quick. No, I just saw this as I was getting ready to leave, and I want to answer this one here and then I'll be able to leave. And this is from Dan. Good afternoon. Wanted to find out more about HIV. I had just found out a nephew of mine who is 21 years old being diagnosed with HIV. Our family is devastated. I have just recently been watching your videos and have found your information very eye-opening. It's like having a blindfold and now I can see. And that's what I'm saying, guys. Get away out of the mind and get yourself opened up. Because if one modality can't fix something, there's always someone that can. God makes sure of that. You got to realize the divine is working this, not man. Right? Having said that, I wanted to find out what advice would you give someone, or what should he start doing to give himself a better chance at life? God bless. Okay, so this is very easy. HIV, along with Hep C and all the other viral loads, herpes, all of these, there's only one way. Remember, in an acidic environment, everybody stays home. In an alkaline environment, the body gets rid of. So if I'm diagnosed with HIV right now, what I'm going to do is put myself on a 10 or 20 day grape diet. That's what, I'm going on grape diet. And if I want to take a few days and break into raw foods and maybe do fruits in the morning, a salad for lunch and fruits at night, just for a few days to get myself used to that sort of level of thinking, I would do that, yeah, maybe a week. And then I'm going on a 20 day grape diet. With that, I'm going after my kidneys, I'm going after my adrenal glands, I'm going after my lymphatic system, Remember, these lymphatic formulas are for poisons and stuff. So I'm going after that. I'm going to go after my parasites in my body. I'm going to go after and enhance my nervous system. I'm going to clean and strengthen. That's the only way to get rid of viral loads. And you can get rid of HIV viral loads just as easy as you can Hep C. You can't get rid of HIV viral loads or any viral load by treating them. Now, they do, with Hep C, they give you all these interferons and all this stuff. It's like, you ever go through that? I mean, easier to detoxify yourself. Much easier. You can't kill proteins, viruses, which a virus is just a protein. You can detox them out of the body. And that's what he has to do. Simple as that. And he can become HIV free. Even if he has AIDS, went into the AIDS, full-blown AIDS, and he has that same thing. Again, these are diseases. They make diseases out of things. HIV isn't a disease, it's a viral. But AIDS, then they could claim that's a disease. But you want to detox virals out of the body. It's the only way. Generally when you see an HIV case, though, if you'll look at the lymph, look at the eyes of the 21-year-old, you're going to find extreme lymph problems. That's what I find in every HIV case I've ever looked at. We've done a lot of that. I'll give you an example. My sister, when she was living, she had a big herb shop downtown here. She had a great big one. And she was working with people to come into her herb shop. So she had a young man come in there with AIDS, full-blown AIDS. So just what I'm telling you, just that's how we do it. That's how we clean up people. That's how we detoxify people. Gone. And I just, this has been 20, maybe 20 years ago. And then before she passed, we were talking about that. And she said, yeah, he called me the other day, still clean and nice. So they became friends, and she communicated with him through life. So it's just a thing to say that don't fear, understand, and then get focused on your journey. And this young man will have a great life, HIV-free. Don't buy into this. I guess maybe that's why I told you the story of the little girl, or the little Asian girl that had HIV. I don't know. Maybe that tied into that in some way. But don't think nothing's curable. Because nothing is curable if you go to the medical community. Nothing is curable. Not even simple high blood pressure. Excuse me? Most of you 5 and 6-year-olds can cure high blood pressure just listening to this. Eat your fruits. So, don't fear the young man. The young man, let him watch this video. Get the young man to watch these videos, get caught into the excitement of detoxification, and this young man will have a great time. He'll be able to regenerate his genetics at the same time. Look at what all you can do at the same time. Not only get rid of the viral loads, but you're going to rebuild any genetic weaknesses. If you have any forming tumors that you're unaware of, those are going to go. You're going to open up your lymph system. You're going to be able to have a life of trouble-free. You're learning how to keep a body healthy and dynamic. Your sense of awareness is going to explode. Your life's going to be fun because you're not going to have any pain. You're going to have flexibility. Can I keep on going? Yeah. Love you guys. See you on the next one.